Well, hey everyone, it's Marcus, and welcome to more chatting in my jungle room. I'm totally excited, thrilled, pumped today because I'm speaking to a guy called Chris Emerson. You definitely know him as What So Not. Hey Chris, how are you?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Hey, just first of all, congratulations. The album has come out today. Woo, The Quiet
Yes.
Hurts with Bunshin. Um, Brilliant. How do you feel to have it finally out there to have everyone listen to it?
I think release days can always be a bit funny. You're sort of relinquishing any ability to change anything and just letting it be in the world to be judged and heard. But a very exciting project. Worked on this on and off for about 3 years. I would actually go and stay with Bunchin at his house on my days off on my European tours, and that's how we would work through this. So it was always a very fun experience being over there, you're having some downtime, traveling around the Netherlands. It's ironically not very dissimilar to the background you have there. It's very lush, very green, lots of ponds. You might even know that there's a name of Ferry Bunshin would collect little pieces from the pond and put them in these little jars in these ecosystems. Like it's a word like auditorium, or it has. Are you familiar with the name I'm talking about? But it's where you create this sealed ecosystem that perpetuates its own oxygen and own carbon dioxide by how it's captured in there with itself with little creatures and the plants themselves.
I love that. You can't see them all at the moment, but I'm a massive aquatic person as well. So I've got aquariums in every room that I try
Wow.
have all self-sufficient. So they all look after themselves. I don't do the water changes. I don't have to do the feeding. And it always just is self-sufficient. So yeah, give me nature and music, and I'm a happy man.
That's exactly what this EP was all about.
Oh, see, this is why we've connected. Uh, Now, of course, Bunshin is Dutch. Um,
Yes.
a well way away place from Australia. How did you two
Mm.
connect originally?
He was sort of a an understudy of one of the greats of the drum and bass scene, Noisia, who are some good friends of mine. And there's a cool, exciting crew. They sort of retired, I think, in before 2020, but it's a great crew of experimental drum and bass producers that all came up under that. And I heard his songs through them. He had a lot of mutual friends with me, and then I think I was in Europe on tour and he was like, "Hey, do you want to just come by and like we'll make some songs?" And then eventually he's like, "Do you want to just stay in the spare room?" And or at the time I was even on the couch and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And we just, crashed out there for 3 days, just went in on music production ideas, sharing concepts, walking around the space that he lived, which was really beautiful. The Netherlands is like such a beautiful green lush place. And and that's really how it all started. It became like a great friendship and like such a great challenging collaborative endeavor. He studied at the conservatorium there, and he studied actually like sound creation from scratch, from how to develop noise and texture and all these kinds of things. And then I come from, I guess, a school of like emotive representation of music, and then kind of fusing those two worlds with each really admiring the pillars of strength in each other's skill sets and then combining those to overlap and accentuate where the other um, was looking to explore further.
It really is great. I mean, there's just such a positive energy behind the music. I'm all about the frequency of the music these days. And that positive energy that it gives your music, and not just this album, but your previous albums as well. Just incredible experience to listen to. So, congratulations on putting out some great stuff into the world. Um,
Thank you.
Before the albums come out, so you're not probably getting all the feedback just yet, but before the album came out in entirety, there were two singles. Um, Obviously, Dancing in the Leaves with Lucy Lucy, and Threads was released. Two incredible songs. How did you find the feedback for those two?
Oh, it was really amazing. Particularly Threads, it's such a challenging record. It goes up to like 566 BPM at one point with that big arpeggiated wind up. And it's very unconventional take on drum and bass, which was really the the endeavor Bunshin and I wanted to go on. Maya Mansour is a friend of mine and such a phenomenal vocalist. And I don't really know who else I could have got to come in and deliver a record like that in such a way. And I think seeing how well that one did, and Threads was the record with Maya, the first one. It's really the catalyst of this whole EP. I actually went to China and stayed in a temple with Shaolin monks training kung fu, and it was a brutal, brutal experience. And I came out of it just thinking about everything differently. It really rattled like any habits, good or bad, and made me reconsider, what mattered to me in 2025.
Yeah.
And how I wanted to live my life and how I wanted to approach my creativity. And I went on this giant wormhole of exploration and internal revision. And Threads kind of became the soundtrack to that experience, that endeavor. And it all came to this concept of our society running away from silence, running away from stillness, and filling our lives with things, filling our lives with scrolling, with tasks and hobbies, and some of those things are good and some of the things are not so good, and there's not enough time spent just sitting there, no technology, no phone, no anything. And what I got to through this whole process was sitting in that silence is where all the greatest ideas come from. It
Mm.
is how to access your truest self. And if you are afraid of that space, if you're running away from that space for most of your life, then you're running away from your best self.
Mm.
And the quiet that hurts is the synopsis of this idea. And Threads was entering that void, that negative space, that nothingness that is the birthplace of all creativity, that is the absence of any intervening with ego, with fear, with any human sort of corruption to it, and just being there in that still space, and then allowing the universe to send you all these ideas. And it was the sonic exploration of that journey, and yeah, kind of the catalyst of the whole EP, The Quiet That Hurts.
Okay, you know what? In your spare time, we are going to create a podcast and talk about life. That just opens up so many more questions that we don't have time for. Because, yeah, man, you have worked it out. And life is special, life is unique. And the more
Mm,
we tap into, being silent, and our creativity, the energy of, the heartbeat of what it takes to be human, it's just incredible. Credit to you.
mm,
Um,
thank
hey,
you.
early on, what were your musical inspirations?
Oh man, how far do I want to go back?
Go
I mean,
all the
like
way
when
back.
I played drums when I was a kid, so I really got into bands like At the Drive-In and Tool and Incubus, and then when I snuck into Big Day Out when I was like 17, which is a iconic Australian festival, and I saw Justice and Ajax from the Bangangi days, the presets, maybe Solax that same year, just blew my mind. I didn't know any of these sounds were possible. I didn't really, it was the first time I ever was like, oh, I like dance music. Dance music is cool. Oh, coming from rock, I was like, ah, whatever. But I was blown away by what you could do with it, and the sound you could create, and how, I guess, how dangerous and raw it was, and yeah, it was like, to me, it was like the evolution of what was happening with distortion on guitars. um and then from there I started DJing around Australia, and then and started producing, started learning how to make records, and I guess the big thing was getting picked up by Skrillex when I was like in my mid 20s or early 20s, and signed to his imprint Owsla, and then went over to America and just exploded.
Bonkers. I mean, what a career so far, and the
Hmm.
still yet to come. Hey, Bonkers,
Yeah.
weekend in Adelaide this weekend. We do have Tool playing, you just mentioned. Um,
No way.
Tool and Lenny Kravitz on the same night. How do I do
Wow.
my time? I can't even cope.
What's crazy is through my work in electronic music, I actually warmed up for Tool on their arena tour one time,
Mad, mad.
which
Hey,
was really crazy.
Speaking of other artists, is there another collaboration? Because I mean, you've done some incredible collaborations. Is there someone else that you've got your eye on for future projects?
You know, it's interesting because the further I've gotten into my career, the more I've realized that the big name you think is the important one to work with might be even not even parallel to some of the smallest acts you come across. Like sometimes you come across the smallest act in the world. Like I take my first album, Winona Oak, who's on there. That was the first record she ever released. Was the song "Beautiful" that we did, and having experiences like that really made me rethink. Like going for big acts can often just be like a numbers metric, whereas it should be about what you get, how you feel together when you get into that space. And sometimes the smallest acts have no commercial corruption, have no industry, gripe. They're just like in it, excited. They're like, oh, anything is possible. Let's just go for it. Let's be daring. Let's be wild with it. So yeah, there's I've kind of worked with everyone big that I ever wanted to work with, and now I am very aware that it's not always about that.
Yeah. And you know what? Make
Yeah,
it happen, right? Um,
yeah,
Hey, let's go to your back work for a second. Anomaly,
yeah.
2022. My favorite that I keep, it's my go-to song, my go-to track on that is Bad Piano, again with the Lucy Lucy. Um,
Oh wow.
that album is definitely on my playlist, and that's the song that always resonates with me. Is there a particular song track on that album that you personally think is a standout?
Bad Piano is probably one of the standouts. I assimilate that one a little bit with something like Same Mistakes that I did on Not All the Beautiful Things with Daniel Johns.
Yeah.
And it's funny that's the one you picked because it's Body Ocean is listed there as one of the collaborators, and Body Ocean is actually part of Noisia. So
Yeah.
Noisia is who was Bunshin's understudies, who Bunshin was sort of understudying. So it's funny, it all comes back around to that same sort of world because I too worked with those guys. They're great friends of mine, and then I was like, let's go and explore that world a little more, and then that's what I've done here.
Crazy. We're all connected somehow.
Yeah.
Hey, last question for you. Obviously, with the release of the new work, is there a chance, a possibility of a bit of an Australian tour or something?
So I've got a really big show out here in Perth. A full lineup that I'm curating. It's me, her, Matilda, Charlotte Plank, and Bunshin is on the show as well. And then I'm sure I'll do a few pop-ups. I know I just did a pop-up at IKEA last week in Auckland,
Yeah.
and I'm sure over the summer there might be a few more fun little things like that happening.
Awesome. Well, fingers crossed there's something in Adelaide sooner than later.
I hope so. Adelaide's getting pretty hard done by at the moment, I think.
I know, I know. Well, you know what? The thing is, there's just so much arts and entertainment. It's just booming at the moment.
Mm,
And it's just hard to keep up with everything. And Adelaide
mm.
getting inundated. Like I said, Tool and Lenny Kravitz on the same night. I mean, who are you going to go to? Um,
Yeah.
Anyways, what an absolute pleasure chatting to you. And like I said, congratulations on the new album that came out today. It's called The Quiet That Hurts Everybody. Get onto it, have a good listen, and really like sit into the moment of it all because it's a really important album, with a really good, strong message. Um, Chris Emerson, What's So Not, congratulations. Have a great
Thanks,
Christmas,
Marcus.
and I look forward to hopefully catching up in 2026.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Been amazing.